Welcome to another edition of this spectacular Tom Green podcast. Last time we did an MLB show with Bruce Cagle Jr. and Johnny Black. They provide a lot of great insights. If you made it through the whole hour and a half, kudos to you, because that was quite a long show. This one probably won't be as long, but it will be very interesting, as I brought in one of our returning guests and superfans, not Alex DeWitt, but Ben Probst. Welcome back to the show, Ben.
What's going on? Happy to be back.
Yeah, this time we're not talking NBA, even though I'm sure you want to talk about practice 24/7. Is that correct?
Of course. Oh, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. For any, in relation to the topic of this video, anyone that wants to forego torturing yourselves by watching the Lions, training camp for the Pistons starts a week from yesterday in Ann Arbor. So that season's coming up. Just in case anyone wants to just jump ship and just cast this putrid team out to sea. The Pistons are going to be back starting training camp in a week. So just in case, that information is out there for you.
Definitely. And who knows, with the teams they've put out the last few years too, the Pistons might be jumping ship on that before we know it. But this is the first full season with Blake Griffin, so we'll see how that goes.
And
Dwayne Casey, the coach of the year last year that got fired because he couldn't beat LeBron. That just puzzles me.
That's the nature of that business. You could win 60 games and still be fired. I can't think of any other sport that's like that.
I guess they're trying to nurse their problems. Am I right?
And Leonard, I couldn't think of a good Kawhi Leonard pun, but yes, you're right. Nick Nurse as well. That's right, that coach.
So if you like NBA, we'll have Ben on in a few weeks for some NBA talk. So before we get started with this Lions-Pats preview, I'm going to hit an ad real fast. Fanatics. Fanatics sells officially licensed merchandise for NCAA, NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, UFC, MLS, and even NASCAR. Yes, they turn left in NASCAR, not right unless you're at Watkins Glen. They have a huge selection of jerseys, shirts, hats, collectibles, memorabilia, and more, with over 400,000 plus items available, and many more on the way. So if you're looking for a sweatshirt, I guess check out Fanatics. They have a ton of them.
So I hear.
With that being said, we go to this Lions-Pats preview. We all know how Bill Belichick feels about the loss to the Jags.
What do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Of course, replace Cincinnati with Detroit, but you get my drift. Am I right?
Absolutely, and they're going to, in terms of both teams, they're both teams that definitely need a fresh start after some rough games. But man, I think the Patriots are a little bit ahead, especially after that Josh Gordon trade.
That's another big topic to talk about here on this one. Gordon. I mean, firstly, he's getting his life back together after John Dorsey takes over in Cleveland. But then now all of a sudden he gets released, now traded to the New England Patriots. Now, of course, we both think that this will work out for him because now he's on quite a Patriots team that's spanned pretty much our lives with a dynasty. But, I mean, this is the opposite of Jamie Collins getting traded to the Patriots instead of traded to the Browns. How does this work out for Josh Gordon?
That's, it does seem like it'd be a slam dunk, and it would work out for him. But I think even Bill Belichick said that some risks don't pan out. I think you just said this recently. Some risks don't pan out. I mean, it could be a Randy Moss situation, but people forget Chad Ochocinco was traded there too.
Yep.
And people forgot that he was on the team. I mean, I mean, his statistics I think were non-existent on that team. I remember in the Super Bowl he had like one catch for maybe less than 10 yards. I mean, and people thought that was going to be the perfect match of Chad Ochocinco with Tom Brady, and he wasn't able to figure out the scheme. So you never know; could go either way.
And the same is true with Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne tried the Patriots, and he said, "Nope, this is too hard. I'm out." People forget
and I think
about
that's
that
what Ochocinco said as well. He just could not. He wasn't able to grasp the playbook fully at all, and you never know. I mean, Josh Gordon's got all the talent in the world. It's always it's always been about stuff off the field and has been on the field. And I mean, I guess he apparently injured himself doing a promotional shoot.
Oh, jeez.
That's the report. According to reports, he showed up late to practice, and then they have found a story that he injured himself doing a promotional shoot. So they're willing to put up with everything else, all the other things that happened to him, but not one injury on a promotional shoot. That's enough. That's enough to say, we're done. We're cutting the cord. You're out. And of course, trading him to New England. They say they wanted to trade. I heard reports that they wanted to trade him to the NFC instead of keeping him in the AFC. And what do? Traded him to New England. Can't think of any more Cleveland than that.
I was going to say #That's so Browns.
So Browns.
Losing to the Saints by a missed field goal and missed extra point. #That's so Browns.
Poor Zane. Apparently that dude had an injured groin, and he's had it for quite a while. And it took till now to be like, hey, maybe someone with an injured groin can't kick very well.
#That's so Browns.
Ugh.
Winning one game in your last 34. Make it like 36 or something like that. #That's so Browns.
And it's so crazy about Zane, too. That guy was, set, Division I records when he was at Arizona State. It just goes to show you that difference between college and the NFL and having a torn groin.
And of course, seeing that you mentioned Arizona State, of course, shout out to one of my former guests, Sarah Brooks, who went to ASU. Was I the only one in the state of Michigan that was not surprised when ASU beat State?
I could give all the credit to you because I definitely wasn't seeing that.
The Big Ten, and this includes Nebraska of 98, even though they were in the Big East, I think, or something like that, Big 12, 0-8 going to Tempe.
That definitely didn't help with that 3-hour time difference, and the fact that I think the average temperature, like the temperature on the field was almost 100 degrees. So
the air temperature was over 100.
Air temperature, thank you.
On-field temperature was probably about 120. But still, ASU beat State. Now State with a bye week, of course. Check back with our State boys, Braden Vanderbilt and Andy Grant for that. If they even brought their show back, because they were the Red Cedar Report last year, and I haven't seen them do anything yet this season. But here I am just cranking out show after show after show, which Ben has been on a few of them. So Ben's thinking, "Geez, Tom's a workhorse." Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking with the Red Cedar podcast, they must be just too embarrassed to want to report after that atrocity a couple weeks ago at Tempe. I wouldn't want to continue to broadcast my show either.
But the thing is, Herman Edwards is coaching out at ASU, and we all remember this quote.
This is about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. If you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Maybe Braden and Andy took that advice.
They must have, and man, I'm glad to be wrong on that. I always liked Herm on ESPN, and that dude is you're a workaholic too, but man, Herm Edwards is a workaholic too. I think I've seen stories of him on ESPN. He's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, studying film, and he's not even a coach, and he's studying film. for as an analyst. So hey, I'm happy for him.
He definitely got back into a profession that he loves for sure. So backtracking from that, let's talk about our beloved Lions. They look better at least, but I mean, we're still looking at a record of 0-2 here. Your thoughts?
Well, yesterday's game was definitely an improvement from Monday night. On Monday night, they were crucified.
Yes.
On Sunday, they were just their running attack was simply obliterated.
I had seen yet another game with 50-plus pass attempts for Stafford. Something's wrong with the offense, and we all know what it is, the running game. They have not had a 100-yard rushing game in 70 games since 2013 Reggie Bush. Something's got to give. I mean, JBC has been there now for 3 years, and we still have yet to have a 100-yard rusher. You got to have a good running game to have a great team. And if you don't have a running game, then forget about it.
Absolutely. And two big things I noticed. Well, first and foremost, where's Kerryon Johnson? They give him the ball at all. Every time I've seen him play, he looks amazing. He looks great. But yet they keep deferring and giving it to someone else, which, Theo Riddick and LeGarrette Blount are capable backs and are great, but we drafted this guy for a reason. Let's see what this guy has, because no one else is working. Give it to him. I mean, even take Theo Riddick's spot. Because, as good as Theo Riddick has been, he dropped 2 key passes at the end of that game that could have got us the first downs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, Garrett Blount is more of a third down specialist. He was that way in New England. He was that way in Philly. So Patricia in Detroit needs to realize that, hey, and JBC too, needs to realize, hey, this guy's more of a third down specialist, not so much of a starter. Kerryon Johnson was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year last year at Auburn. So if you have the SEC Offensive Player of the Year on your team, you should probably use him.
You would think, but hey, this is the same offense that apparently the Jets said knew every play that was coming, knew exactly what was going to be in front of them. And the last time I heard stuff like that was with Joe Lombardi's offense. Look what happened to him. So I'm done with Jim Bob. I'm done with Jim Bob. If that offense just isn't getting it done, and I know Stafford's talked about that he likes the freedom it gives him, but freedom to do what? Freedom to do absolutely nothing, because that's what the offense is doing. And that's been the problem. You think with the new coach that they would resolve the problem of, for like the first 3 quarters of the game, we're not going to do anything. We're going to, just be casual and slow. And then when they get down by a couple scores, okay, now I got to keep going. Now I got to start. Now we got to just do quick plays. No, you think that would change under a new coach, and it clearly hasn't. It clearly has not. They don't start actually playing cohesively until they're down by multiple scores.
Yeah, and that's not how you win in the NFL, and that's not how you win in football, period. And I have another super fan, Adam Dustin, that says the same thing about Michigan, is that they've been playing too conservatively, and they don't start really doing much until they're either down multiple scores or it's the fourth quarter and it looks like they're going to lose. So, Detroit, let's get that offense running.
And not just go at like a just a mild pace, like a speed walk. Let's actually put the pedal to the metal. Hate to use cliches like that, but they're not doing that.
They got to run. R-U-N. Run.
Or get JBC out of town.
R-U-N. Run JBC out of town. There you go. Combine the two. Kind of like Frank on American Pickers. The bundle package.
The bundle. That's right.
And yes, I will say it on air that I am an American Pickers fan.
I My dad loves that show. He watches it all the time, and well, that's actually one of the few reality shows on the History Channel that I can actually stomach, because it actually has to do with history. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, the History Channel used to be this... They used to have a lot of great documentaries on that channel, but now they show just random things like Forged in Fire. I mean, what does that have to do with history?
Real historical. I mean, I can kind of get the model. I mean, reality TV's, cheap to produce, so they, get a lot of money from those reality shows, and then they're able to use that money to do some good series. I mean, they did, Hatfields and McCoy was a good show, but the problem is you think they would still be more related to history, and they just aren't. They're just kind of just like the lowest grade level of reality TV.
Mm-hmm. But I will give them credit for this. The documentaries that they produce are actually really good.
Oh, they're fantastic. But,
So yeah, a Lions-Pats preview with history on it. The perfect Tom Green podcast.
Because you have to look back into history when the last time the Lions were worth anything. I mean, what is it now? 27 years since they won a playoff game. So it's related.
Yeah, they got to win that playoff game at some point, or else
they'll be the Bengals or the Bungles.
We will be skull and bone, and they still wouldn't have won a playoff game. Unfortunate. So with that being said, score predictions. How do you think Sunday night will go?
Man, I mean, the cold-hearted cynic in me as a Lions fan, you just expect them to get obliterated. But I thought they were going to get obliterated a couple days ago against the Niners, and they actually made it close. But it all just depends on if they can stop that rushing attack. If they can, because Stafford, there was definitely some issues with the offense, but it definitely wasn't proved. They didn't have between the two quarterbacks, they didn't have 5 interceptions. They didn't have turnovers. Right. So if they can just keep improving, maybe they could make it close. So to give an overly long answer to that question, they'll probably, at best, maybe it'll be 28-14.
So you're thinking they're going to get stomped. I tend to think that way too, but the last 2 times Detroit played at home on Sunday night, both were losses, but both were much closer than people expect. On the year of Super Bowl 50, when Denver finally won that Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, the Lions played Denver on Sunday night and only lost by 7. Last year, Lions-Pittsburgh. Everybody expected Pittsburgh to blow them out. They only lost by 7. So guess how I think this game is going to go?
Oh boy.
I think they're going to keep it close, but lose by 7. Give me New England 27, Detroit 20. I think if Gordon gets out there, he might have a 100-yard game. I think there will be a wide receiver with a 100-yard game. The rushing attack might actually be all right because New England is not that much of a rushing team. And the last time Detroit played on Sunday night, they faced Le'Veon Bell, and they held him under 100 yards. So I tend to disagree when it comes to the rushing game, but I do notice that, yes, Breida had 120-some yards on the ground. So it's not like I'm skipping over that. So I'm going to say Pats 27, Lions 20. Detroit keeps it close, but New England ends up winning in the end like we all think.
A little more positive than my pick, but we can connect on the fact that we still think they're going to lose. And, man, what's their schedule the following couple games? I think they could easily start the season 0-5.
At Dallas, home to Green Bay.
That's what I thought. Oh, God. Maybe Dallas. Maybe. But, they looked like they got it back together against New York and bewildered Eli Manning, or at least the bewildered Eli Manning face.
Yes, we have a new Eli Manning face. And the Giants' offensive line meme is like the turnstiles going to the subway.
Just go. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a great player, but if they clearly didn't learn anything from last year. I think they should have drafted a quarterback. As good as Barkley flashes at Barkley show, they just think, get Barkley in there and take a team that only won 3 games last year and make them a playoff contender. I mean, I saw previews of that the Giants were actually playoff contenders. Like, are you kidding me? This team only won 3 games, and all they changed was a head coach who was a complete failure in Cleveland. I mean, and added I think they added Nate Solder and then got Saquon Barkley. I just think that they thought that was just going to fix everything. Clearly didn't.
And that's another thing I tell people that criticize Stafford. Stafford's a good quarterback, but he needs an offensive line to protect him.
Look what happened to Russell Wilson last night. He's been a great quarterback for basically his whole career. Now he doesn't have an offensive line, and he's been eating up the last 2 games. And he's a mobile, and he can get out of the pocket, and even he was having trouble.
And Khalil Mack going to the Bears. Our buddy Jeff Lyons is excited about that, but Mack's been a beast in the Midway, and he proved it last night.
Making Gruden look dumber and dumber every day.
Yeah, and as for the Raiders, oh boy, we'll see how that defense is without Khalil Mack.
I don't know what shows I was watching late a couple days ago, and I think it was at the beginning of the season. They made like a prediction. They thought like a crazy prediction, their bold prediction, and they thought one of them said their bold prediction was John Gruden was going to be fired at the end of the season, and I thought that was completely ridiculous considering all the money they threw his way, the 10-year, $100 million contract. But they keep playing like that. He may not be wrong.
Yeah, who knows with the salary, with how much money they're throwing at him if they actually want to get rid of him after 1 year, but who knows. Gruden's looking not good right now.
That's saying it as nicely as possible.
I try to be nice sometimes.
Get him back in the booth, because did you hear Witten? Have you heard Witten the last couple of games? He is atrocious. He just doesn't have any charisma. I think just anybody else can be better than him. He's awful. So get Gruden back, because man, they just thought they could just. Hey, he played on the Cowboys like Romo. Romo was good. Let's get Witten. He'll do a great job. He's like, and I've seen memes that they make him like that he's like Ricky Bobby on the booth, and I see it because like he adds absolutely nothing to the analysis. I mean, he's a great player, but I think I heard one time he said during the game, "Man, it's really important to get 7 points here."
No.
Really? It's important to get 7 points.
I thought it was only important to get 6.
And then I think I heard him try to quote Goodwill Hunting when they score a touchdown. Them apples. How do you like them apples? Like, really? I mean, and I've seen like stories that he was like a really good trash talker for the Cowboys when he was playing, but if that was the best of his trash talk, then I have a hard time believing that.
Oof. Just like my analysis after the Lions week 1. Oof.
That's my reaction listening to any commentary that Jason Witten does. I love Joe Tessitore. He's doing fine.
Yes, Tessitore's doing great.
They should get who was I'm trying to think of who's the guy the quarterback that used to play for Michigan, that 97 team. He always does a lot of college football games. Beal? Oh no, what's his name?
The first name that's coming to my head is John Navarre, but I don't think it was him.
Well, he does a lot of college football games, and I think he did the Monday night game for the Lions last week.
I was in the stadium, so I couldn't tell you.
Right. Oh man. Well, let's see. But that guy, I know he's done a lot of college games. He was a million times better. A million times better.
We're looking at Brian Greasy.
Thank you. Brian Greasy. Joe Tessitore and Brian Greasy. That should be the lineup because he's so much better.
That would be something I'd listen to intently. So, with that being said, we go to the famed segment on this Tom Green football podcast. Do you know what that is?
Would that be rapid fire?
The rapid fire games. Now, of course, just like every segment, you have a minute to analyze the game, make your pick. I will make a pick myself. Right now, on the guest portion of the show, the 6-2 is your best winning percentage, 750 winning percentage. If you match or pass that, you're eligible to get a $25 gift. If it be a gift card or a case of beer or something like that, will be determined by whoever wins. But the segment of the show that everybody looks forward to.
Oh, man. Some Cleveland Browns fans should listen to the podcast. It might be their only chance of getting beer and winning it.
Well, you'll be surprised at my pick for that rapid fire game coming up. So, we're going to start in the college sector. Texas A&M and Alabama.
You said I have a minute? That would take me 5 seconds. Alabama. Right. As much as I despise that team, I mean, because I'm sick of them, I'm sick of their dominance. Alabama, no question. Not even a...
Yeah, this one was only got to rapid fire because it was ranked versus ranked. I got to go Alabama as well, especially in Tuscaloosa. Jimbo's got the program playing well to start out his career there, but he's run into a rocky road in his first season. Give me Alabama 42, Texas A&M 14.
Oh, I forgot a score. I'm sorry. How about 31-13?
Okay. Kind of similar. We got Pac-12 College Game Day will be at this site. Stanford, Oregon.
Man, Stanford's been rolling. I'm saying they're going to continue to roll.
So you like...
I'm going to say, let's see, get another score. How about, man, the way that offense is playing, I'll give it 27-10.
Okay. Back when Chip Kelly was at Oregon, Stanford was their Achilles heel. I think history is on Stanford's side. I like Stanford in this game, even though it is in Eugene. Give me Stanford 31, Oregon 20. A little bit closer, but I think Stanford gets away with a win in Eugene. Big Ten showdown at Kinnick Stadium, Wisconsin, Iowa.
Wow, that was... Wisconsin they had a fun week last week, didn't they?
If you weren't in the state of Wisconsin, it was a fun week for Wisconsin.
Oh, absolutely, it's almost like it's the karma for that Packers Bears game because it's like, all right, guys, you got the Packers came back from that game. All right, now your college team has to lose to BYU.
Right. Because Gaglione missed the field goal.
Well, with that being said, Wisconsin is still a very talented team, and Kirk Ferentz always has a good team, but I think Wisconsin is going to bounce back because that was utter humiliation for them, and I think they're going to, and that'll be, usually Big Ten games are pretty close. I'll give it 23-20, Wisconsin.
I'm going to say not so fast on that one. Kinnick Stadium is the second toughest place to play in the Big Ten, of course, in my opinion, behind the Big House. But I think Iowa's going to win this game. They're always good against the Big Ten at home. Give me Iowa by the same score, 23-20.
Alrighty. Was that some Lee Corso I heard there? Not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend. Of course. Minnesota, Maryland.
The roll the boat crew for Minnesota. And man, Maryland has turned into an absolute train wreck. I mean, Minnesota isn't that much better, but Maryland's is just a gigantic train wreck. I think I could easily see that score being, I'm going to say 21-0 Minnesota.
I like that pick, even though it's in Maryland. Maryland right now is, like you said, a train wreck, especially without their head coach, who will most likely be fired.
Right. And yet.
I'm going to say Minnesota 27, Maryland 7. Going to the NFL now, Thursday night in the Dog Pound, Jets Cleveland.
That's going to be a fun game. When's the last time you said that the Jets and Browns were a fun game? But that's going to be fun. I mean, Sam Darnold. I wasn't expecting anything from Sam Darnold, and he's proven me wrong. But man, I would love to see Cleveland win so bad. So just supporting, wanting them to come back. I'm gonna say I think the Browns are gonna win, get their first win in over almost 2 years now. I think I'm gonna have it be a score of 24-20.
I like that pick. They can unlock the Bud White fridge. Dilly. Cleveland gets their first win since Christmas Eve of 2016, 31-20. Darnold throws 2 picks. Browns defense are fairly good. Give me the Brownies. Woof woof.
Absolutely.
Tennessee, Jacksonville.
Is Mariota going to be able to start? Because I know Gabbert was in there last week.
I would say he would start.
Yeah, even that doesn't really matter. Jacksonville, man, that defense. I mean, and what's even scarier about Jacksonville is Blake Bortles is actually playing really, really well. So I think that's going to continue, and I think Jacksonville will win this one easily. I will say 27-6.
Jags defense in Jacksonville. I've said it before on this show. AFC South divisional games are the toughest to pick in all of football, but I got to go Jags this one. Jags at home, 31-14. Dallas, Seattle.
Well, the conventional wisdom, you would say that the way Dallas played on Sunday, that they would easily beat an 0-2 Seattle team. I think differently. Based on what I saw on Monday, I mean, that game, they were getting completely obliterated, but they only lost by I think it was 24-17. They only lost by a touchdown.
Yep.
That shows a lot of fight, and I think Seattle's going to beat Dallas. I think Russell Wilson will will bounce back, and because maybe I don't think the offensive line is going to be fixed at all, but I think they'll continue that momentum. They almost came back with that onside kick, so I think Seattle's going to win. It's going to be 17-10, Seattle. Defensive battle.
I like Seattle as well, especially at CenturyLink Field, the 12th man. Give me the Seahawks 24-17. Close game, but yeah, Seattle takes that one. And our last one, Pittsburgh, Tampa.
Oh, what a tale of 2 different situations. Tampa Bay, completely riding high with Conor McGregor as the quarterback. Fitzpatrick. And then Pittsburgh, on the other hand, I mean, Le'Veon Bell's still not signed, and now Antonio Brown isn't practicing, and saying to a former PR director for the Steelers, "Trade me if you don't like me." But I think I'm gonna have an upset. I think Pittsburgh's gonna win. I mean, because while as talented as Fitzpatrick has been, that's kind of what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. He goes off for a couple games, but then after a couple games, he kind of comes back down to earth and starts kind of playing like the backup quarterback that he is. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game, and I'm going to give it 20-17.
I like Pittsburgh in this game as well. Usually the cycle of Fitzpatrick is be great as a starter for a season, go to a team that needs a backup, comes in to back up, gets signed, stinks, goes to another team as a backup, and the cycle continues. Give me Pittsburgh 21-14. Tampa falls back to reality, and Pittsburgh at least wins another game, but has a lot of questions with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. So that being said, that is our rapid fire segment. And of course, as any podcast that I wrap up with, Ben, is there anything else that you would like to add to this Tom Green podcast?
Oh, it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun week of games. It's gonna be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. And man, I'm really hoping the Lions are gonna pull it out, but I'm not 100% confident at all. But actually, I was going to mention this with Fitzpatrick. I thought this was kind of interesting. I don't know if you knew this.
Sure.
When I was looking at something on Fitzpatrick, he's the only quarterback in NFL history to throw 4 touchdown pass games with 5 different franchises.
That's unbelievable.
Couldn't believe it. So I want to be wrong. I mean, I picked Pittsburgh because just knowing like you said, the Fitzpatrick cycle. But I want to be wrong because that'd be fun.
Yeah, ride the Fitz magic train.
Oh, I love it. It's fun, and that's why I love NFL football. You can be terrible one year and great the next year. I think I don't know what show I was listening to where they say in the NFL rebuilds don't really exist, and I couldn't agree more because you can just bounce back so quickly. You don't need to rebuild. So that would just add to my enjoyment and why I love the NFL. It's just because you can't see some of these things coming at all. And I hope it's weird. I'm picking Pittsburgh, but I actually want to be wrong.
I know a lot of these picks I think the same way. Can I be wrong this time? So
that's why I don't do college brackets anymore. Because I don't want to be right. I want to have the upset. I can't do brackets for that reason.
March Madness is another topic that we'll hit on a show coming up probably in March. Oh, yeah, it's March Madness. But yes, had to get people laughing for that one. So, interesting stuff there. He has Ben Probst, and this has been the Tom Green Podcast. Thanks again for coming on, Ben.
Absolutely. It was a blast.